When he stumbled upon a bear cub caught in a cruel steel trap, instinct took over. He couldn't just walk away. Carefully, he worked to free the frightened creature, never thinking about what might come next. But the moment the cub was loose, the air shifted, and the forest went silent, because its mother had arrived. Christopher never expected to start his morning pulling a bear cub from a tangle of barbed wire. What was meant to be a calming hike through the woods behind his house, a quiet reprieve from a stressful work week, quickly unraveled into something else entirely. The forest had greeted him with crisp air and the soothing crunch of pine needles, but that calm shattered with a piercing cry, desperate and unnatural. His heart leaped. He ran, crashing through the brush toward the sound, and in a small clearing, he found it. A bear cub, no bigger than a retriever, its fur matted with blood and panic, the wire dug deep into its flesh. Crouching low, Christopher whispered softly, trying to still his trembling hands and calm the frantic animal. Each snip of his multi-tool tightened the knot in his gut as the cub flinched in pain. Minutes crawled by in tense silence until at last the wire gave way and the cub stumbled free. Christopher barely had time to exhale before the crack of branches behind him froze him mid-breath. She was massive, towering, silent, watching. The mother bear had arrived. Christopher stood paralyzed, bracing for the worst. But instead of rage or charge, there was a moment of stillness. Her dark eyes flicked from her cub to Christopher and back again. Then, with surprising gentleness, she nudged the cub toward the trees. Before disappearing into the forest, she looked back, her eyes holding something Christopher couldn't name. Gratitude, understanding, maybe both. The drive home was a blur. His hands clenched the wheel, white-knuckled. The image of the cub's bloodied body and the mother's steady gaze looped through his mind. When he stepped inside, his wife Charles was curled up with a book. Her smile faded the moment she saw him. He tried to explain, halting words, trembling hands. I found a cub in barbed wire. Someone left it there to die. Charles tried to soothe him, told him nature was brutal and people careless, but Christopher's frustration only grew. Couldn't they at least try to do better? He couldn't sleep that night, couldn't shake the eyes of the bear, the sound of the cub's cries. Night after night, the memories returned in dreams, barbed wire, blood, and a mother's silent gaze. Charles watched helplessly as Christopher began to unravel. When he told her he needed to go back to make sure the cub survived, she pleaded with him to let it go. He couldn't. Back in the woods, the clearing was empty. The barbed wire lay rusted and discarded, but Christopher's unease deepened. This wasn't about one animal anymore. It was about responsibility, his and everyone's. Days later, he returned again and stumbled upon someone else, an older ranger named Daniel Jackson, grizzled and guarded. Christopher told him about the trap. Daniel didn't seem surprised. Poachers, he muttered. They're getting bold. When Christopher offered to help, Daniel hesitated, but eventually agreed. Just know, once you start, there's no turning back. Together, they searched the forest for signs, traps, snares, trails. Christopher's initial determination gave way to fear when they encountered a group of armed men deep in the woods. Poachers. When they were discovered, gunfire erupted. In the chaos, Daniel was caught in a hidden trap. Christopher refused to leave him, pried the jaws open, and helped him escape. They barely made it out alive. Back in town, the face of one poacher haunted Christopher because he knew him. Matthew Martin, his coworker, was a man he trusted. The confrontation was quiet, dangerous. Matthew threatened him to keep silent. People disappear every day, he warned, but Christopher made the call anyway, risked everything, gave the authorities everything he had. Matthew and several others were arrested. Christopher's injuries from the escape landed him in the hospital. Charles sat beside him, remorse and pride written in her eyes. You were right, she told him. You saw something that mattered and did something about it. Daniel visited him not long after. You did good, he said, but the fight isn't over. Christopher knew. He didn't want to go back to who he was. He was different now, burned, but awakened. Weeks later, he and Daniel returned to the forest. As they dismantled more traps, a figure emerged from the shadows, the same mother bear. She stepped into the clearing calmly, her cub, healed and strong, trailing behind her. They stood, watching Christopher with quiet recognition. The mother locked eyes with him once more, then disappeared into the trees. It was the closure he hadn't known he needed. Back home, Christopher and Charles sat together, the weight of everything they'd endured settling between them. "Can people really change?" she asked. Christopher looked out the window, toward the forest, and nodded. Maybe it starts with just one person refusing to look away. And that was enough. Or maybe it was just the beginning. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.